I represent Shobha, and from our experience, what we can say that the way forward for the real estate sector as well as for the developers is to keep professionalizing more and more.
Real estate as a sector, I believe, for last many decades was not really regulated, and there was no entry barrier, there was no science behind everything. There was just national building code for developers, and as a result, we saw a lot of haphazard development across the country. The consultants came into this industry about 17, 18 years ago, and that made a difference. And when RICS came into the industry, that made even bigger impact because standards of valuations were established, and then standards of best real estate practices got recognition that you need to in such a big sector which contributes to the economy on such a large scale.
It playing a big role in the sense bringing the standard, bringing the norms, bringing the practices and policies under which it should really work and perform. It's very, very good. So real estate in that sense is like, which I also said that it's a highly underserved in regards to professional educations and professional ethics and the way of working. It is highly abused also. So bringing a standard, transparency, practices certainly is a need of the hour. And as the market is growing, as more investment is coming in, the risk has grown in the market.
What was not there in the past was getting qualified professionals to enter this business. Right? It was just like either you had your family property to develop, or some friends got together and put this business together. But now I think the legislation is mandating a lot more adherence to be kept to the rules and regulations. So fly-by-night operators will go away. So a lot of professional, qualified talent can easily see opportunities for growth by joining this business.
The way I see it, it's not just the REITs. REITs will add a lot more transparency, but India is in the focus globally. We are probably the only country growing at about 7.5% GDP. There's a lot of foreign capital that wants to come to India. And when foreign capital comes to India, they like to see, and even REITs for that matter, they like to see a lot more transparency. They like to see standards. RICS stands for the gold standard in valuations. So there needs to be that benchmark to the absolute gold standard, which is the RICS standard.
There has to be a body which promotes learning and development, which sets standards, and the stakeholders of the real estate industry recognize those standards, because as you know, India is a federation of states, which means every state has its own bylaws. The land is under the jurisdiction of various states, and therefore each city is kind of new country. And to bring it all together under one, you need standards, and I think that's where the RICS plays the single most important contribution.
If you look at today's program also, right, they were able to impart not only the insight, they were also able to give comfort that so many people and what a contributory role the real estate sector plays in any economy. So if you do not have competent people like RICS bodies, it will not be possible for real estate sector to have that professional insight and inputs needed for this sector to grow.
In past what happened, there used to be thumb rule which would prevail in the market and everything will go through because the risk in the market wasn't there. But now more investment, more parties involvement, more supply, more capital involvement, and all those things has exposed the risk so much. It's very important that we bring the transparency, we bring the standard and norms under which the valuations, other things happen. So in that sense, RICS role is very, very important.
I think once you have a stamp, people know what they're getting. Look, if I hire someone, first of all, it's a risk. I don't know whether he's going to perform. I don't know whether he's going to be just a waste of time. But when you have some sort of validation, you're willing to actually put something on the line and say, okay, I know this guy's from RICS, or I know he's from so-and-so real estate school. And therefore, I can say, yes, I'm willing to take a punt on this. I'll take the guy. I'm willing to put out a fixed salary. And I know that I will get X, Y, Z return. I think once you do have a qualification, obviously you can expect a better remuneration from there.
I would request people to think about when it comes to the physical development is either you should know the ropes because it is much more complicated than you think it is. It's good in theory in conversation, but actually the development part of the business is tough. But in terms of the business, it's going professional. Hopefully it'll get easier over time. As of now, I only foresee it being tough in the short term, but over the time it'll get easier.